from top 10 detected malware in the year 2010. You see, these are for Windows machines, so nothing against Microsoft. In fact, it was taken from Microsoft at that time. Some worms, like first quarter of 2010, for example, third column. You had 1.5 million worms of the type Titter, right? And the second quarter of 2010, we had 2.2 million, so it was going up. In fact. Similarly, you had password stealers, you had Trojan downloaders, more worms, adware, yeah, we'll get to that, Trojans, and then potentially unwanted software. In millions and millions of different types of infections, and these were the clean ones. The ones that were identified by your Windows OS and taken care of. The ones that were not identified and they were not clean, they're different. We don't have statistics for that, right? That's how big a problem that is. Geographically, these are the infection rates per country. How many of these bad pieces of software do we have all over the world? Like, I don't know if it's very clear. We lie somewhere in the middle. This is kind of like orange. For example, here. This is a red part. The red part tells us that for every 1,000 machines, we have like 10 to 25, between 10 and 25 malware infections that are identified and clean. That's how bad it is. Right? So 1,000 machines here, KFUPM, for example. On average, 10 to 25 of them were identified as having malware. And then, correct, what's that? I don't know, every 1,000 machines. That's just a statistic. Let me get that right. Yeah, sorry.
Can you see them in the process running in your computer?
Right.
You can see them running if you know the name.
Yeah, well, they don't have the name that's listed here. They'll have a different name.
I know, I mean, if you know the name, you can see them in the process.
If you can see them in the process, it's a very naive-looking malware. Smart malware should turn up, right? Or they turn up with a different name, like Win32.exe. You don't know what it is. It could be your OS. Like, okay, that looks good. It should work, otherwise my OS is not going to work. You don't delete that process, right? Stop it. But then maybe it's a Trojan horse, or it could be a virus, or it could be a worm. You can't see those things clearly. You need to be experienced, or you use anti-malware, antiviruses that are updated, and they take care of that for you. Okay. Read each file in your machine, and they give you a warning sign that, hey, this is bad or this is good. Yeah. Unless it's pirated. Right? You guys? So yeah, we're kind of right up there, right? We're in the top two. We're amongst the top two categories. It's not a very good idea, but even America is there because they have loads of machines. The statistic depends on the number of machines that you have. And I think America has the most number of machines, that's why they have the most number of infections as well. 1,000 machines. Like for example, some of the African countries, they don't have too many machines there. Not many computers. There's not many infections. No computers, no problems, right? All right. Let's very quickly get into online banking, how things work technically speaking. We deal with certificates, as I mentioned you, right? These are issued by well-known companies like VeriSign and Equifax. What they do is they say, well, this is to certify that this server is login.yahoo.com. There's the validity of the certificate, the public key of the certificate. Whoever wishes to communicate with the server, do it. You should look at the certificate before you communicate with the server. Yeah. This is like second degree certificate, right? This is certified XYZ has a degree B as computer engineering, computer science, and this is the name of the person, so you know that it's him, and you can give him a job, right? So you're giving a job to the banking server. Okay. That's what's happening here. Your web server ID is from your banking server, or from your mail.yahoo.com, for example, on the left, along with the public key of the web server and certificate information, CA information, like for example, it's VeriSign.com, right, that issued the certificate. It comes to it gets scrambled, essentially, by using a function, a mathematical function. It takes a very big message, scrambles it, fixed size output. That output is produced information, encrypted, say using Caesar's encryption. Then you get something that is called a signed certificate. It is sent to your client. Everything in orange is your client, your web browser. That's you over here. The client is like, hey, this guy's claiming that he's mail.yahoo.com. That's verified. Okay. And that public information there, web server ID, web server public key, is rehashed over here and re-encrypted, which is missing in here. And you compare what you got from here with what you have over here. And if the comparison matches, essentially, you're sure that the web server you're trying to access is the web server that you are looking for. It's not xyz.com, it's mail.yahoo.com. Right. That's a mechanism. Very high level description. Now, how does this hash function work? How big is the output? How big is the input? What kind of encryption is using? Public key infrastructure, public keys and private keys that look very big. They're modular exponential operations. It's mathematics. You have comparators over here. You have communication through the communication line. Okay. And then you have a nice looking web browser that has inbuilt mechanics to make sure that things are done the way they are represented here. You have courses here, the COE and the ICS department that help you understand this in depth in a more professional manner. So I'm just trying to keep it as easy as possible, but I'm also trying to give you the gravity of the situation, how things work. If you don't have all this, there's going to be a very quick access to your banking website, but things can't easily be compromised. All right? So that's why we're here to protect you using security. In conclusion, the idea is very simple. You've got to be aware, you've got to be active, update your antivirus, anti-malware programs whenever they pop up. It's going to expire in 2 days. And be cautious with online secure transactions. That's the key idea. Now this is going to propagate to Wi-Fi and your Samsung Galaxy tabs and the iPads that you have here. Right. You don't do free writing, you don't just jump over links that are freely available. Try to use secure links as much as possible, especially for online transactions with your banks. And I'm giving this presentation in Saudi Arabia. If you give this in Africa, it's going to be different. Because you have spectrum problems and you have 3G, 2G. Goes down, goes up, and banking credentials go out in the air without you knowing that they're not encrypted. Right? We'll deal with that some other time, shall And I'm here to take your questions if you have any. And thank you for your participation in this presentation. Yes?
Can your computer be a bot without you knowing?
That's the idea. If you know that it's a bot, then you would try to figure it out, right?
Yeah, of course. But I mean, they're not specific computers used for bots.
Maybe this computer is a bot right now. You can't tell. That's why we have a whole bunch of layers of security, firewalls, IDSs, to make sure that if it's a bot, the data that's going out of this is stopped somewhere in building 14 before it reaches the internet. Right?
How can I secure my website? How can I make sure that it's not so easy to hack a website? Is there a standard or
For your website, it depends on the web server that you've installed the website on. Right? If it's, for example, this is your website, right? It's right here. What kind of things are you dealing with? Are you dealing with secure transactions? You need to figure that out. People log into your website, you need to figure that out. People making purchases, giving you credit card information, you need to figure that out, right? If it's a serious matter, like a secure credit card transaction is needed, you need to get in touch with Equifax, VeriSign, digitally, etc. These guys will provide you with a certificate that you're like this mail.yahoo.com and you're a secure website. Things will happen normally. And whoever wishes to get in touch with you gets in touch through that certificate mechanism, right? Like the online bank. However, if it's not an online transaction kind of website, just put it as plain text in here. That's fine. Now, if your web server is compromisable, like it's in a network which is very weak, lots of ports are open and viruses, worms going around here and there, you can't help it because it's going to be compromised sometime or another because you'll have someone infecting your machine, making changes to the HTML integrity of your HTML files, and it's going to display things that you're not supposed to see, right? Stuff like that. So to protect that, you should make sure that the network that your website installed it is already hardened, has okay. Your web server also has an up-to-date anti-malware and antivirus installed. Any other questions, guys?
Can I make my own certificates, not from VeriSign, and even if it won't be trusted by regular browsers?
Right. You can.
I can?
People do it.
For free, huh?
You do it for free if you have a Linux or Cinnamon or Windows. There's a tool called GPG. Right? And it generates certificates for you. It's public and a private key. And you tell the whole world, hey, this is my public key, you wish to communicate with me, do it like this. And the private key is yours. Only problem is it's not certified, right? So someone in the other corner of the world is also using GPG can generate the same certificate. Right? So it's not certified. Once it's certified, it's unique. The whole world knows that this mail.yahoo.com and that's their public key and certificate. Right? So I guess you can. Right?
Can firewalls block emails from certified websites such as Gmail
Yes, you can define any rule you wish to. Right? It's primarily it deals with the protocol and the port number. Okay, if you know the protocol that's being used, the port number that on which the protocol is going to run, and you can either block or allow access to those protocol port numbers. An advanced level firewall would do it. For example, the Windows firewall here. You could define a little more sophisticated rule like this URL should not send anything to my computer, and it's going to work. It's very simple.
Can my internet provider see the data I'm sending or the data I'm receiving?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
The internet provider that I am taking internet from, like let's say the university, can it see the data what I am browsing or what data I am sending, what data I am receiving?
Definitely.
What about my emails or something like that?
Those are bits and bytes. Bits and bytes. And if I'm sending things from here, they go past a certain point, right? And anyone who's sitting at that point can see those bits and bytes.
Even my emails or something like that?
Right? But can they infer anything from it? Can they figure out what your email message is?
Yeah, something.
It depends on your security. If you're using a mail server that does not use HTTPS, right? That message is plain text. And it's lying there on the server. Any server administrator can read the message. If you're using HTTPS, which Yahoo does, Gmail does, Hotmail does, etc., right? That message is scrambled. It doesn't make sense. The administrator doesn't know what's happening. Once you go against it, you can't work. Unless it's highly sensitive information. Any other questions, guys? No? All right, let's wrap it up.